for this first episode, we read Batman: The Court of Owls Saga. It's the first 11 issues, I think.
1 through
Not
11.
12.
No.
Every trade is 1 through 11 issues. That's how they are all done that way.
Yep, every trade is 11
Are they
issues
really?
exactly.
They don't cover the full second arc after
No,
that?
they always go for 12. This one just for some reason ends on 11.
I know. I was thinking that arcs
I
are
don't
like 6
understand.
issues a lot.
Isn't it?
Yeah. It's usually 6, 8, or 12.
Is 52 divisible by 6? Yeah, 6 times 7, right?
Yeah.
So it's like
It
7
just
arcs a
covers
year.
it.
6
when
times
it was
7.
Is that why
printed
it's
in
New
volume.
52? Because they made 52 issues for each thing?
Dude.
Well, actually, there's
Some
a
of
lot
them did not make it that far.
Oh, really?
That would be crazy.
There's
Some of them
a
did not
lot
make it that far.
well, and okay, so I didn't do a lot of research before this.
Yeah.
I kind of am just going based off of what I know and what I think I know. But
Off
I
of
think
headcanon.
Scott Snyder's run, it starts with issue 1, obviously. I think
Right.
it goes for 52 issues.
Oh,
and then
okay.
and then it
That's
keeps going, but
crazy.
Scott Snyder's not
But
the
he
writer.
dropped
Yeah,
it off
right.
after 52.
I think he
okay.
did. So that's like 5 years, I think he.
So
that's
to
a-
abbreviate
52
Scott
issues.
Snyder's name,
Not related or affiliated with Zack Snyder, as far as I'm concerned. I've been doing
different.
research.
Yeah.
Different people. There's an
just share
off-screen
last
voice.
name.
Our off-screen voice over there is Isha.
What's up?
So guy in
Yeah,
the
he's
chair.
a
Are we gonna
he's a hovering
introduce
voice.
ourselves
Yeah,
as
can
well?
Yeah,
We
maybe we
could.
should.
Yeah,
We
who
start
are
with
we?
the
Who's
guy
the
off
host?
camera.
He's the only one I care about.
Wait, time out.
That's fair.
Let's restart and introduce ourselves. Then.
No.
Yeah, I was about to say, are we?
No,
are
he
we
said
throwing
we
me
ain't
in the
doing
fucking
that.
Camera now?
We're in. We're going.
I think we're
We're
into
in.
it. I think we're into it.
I mean,
Well, if we want to do a formal introduction, how about we start with a man on the left, Jonas Tabling? Am I saying that right?
yes,
I'm on the
Tabling.
left.
Jonas Tabling. That is my name.
Camera left.
Resident
My
Transformers.
left.
fan.
Resident Transformers fan, because none of these fuckers read it or know anything
Oh,
about it.
I read
the
one
same.
volume by Robert Kirkman.
Oh yeah.
That's the only one I've read. One trade.
I mean, honestly, I only just started picking up the comics now, but I was real into the movies and the show, and
Which movies?
The Bay movies?
obviously the Bay movies.
Obviously.
But
What
I mean,
other?
I didn't see the Gen 1 movie until after that.
You
'Cause
saw
I
Megan
think-
Fox and
Yeah, I saw Megan Fox.
Okay,
and,
well, I
it made my mind go woo, and then also big robots that turn into cars, which is like whoa, even more. So then that just I was like, oh, what is this? And then I started getting more interested in the actual animated show. I didn't even know that was really a thing until I saw the Bayverse movie.
So what you like more?
oh,
Whoa.
I mean,
It's a simple question.
it is a simple question.
Patreon content.
Yeah, right.
If we're-
Yeah,
We're gonna have
if-
to-
the episode's not about
if we're
that.
being, yeah, it's not. But if we're being real here, I am a bit more of a fan of the Bayverse because that has a special place in my heart because it's my first introduction to Transformers.
Valid.
But I do love. I mean, I wasn't around obviously when it was happening and was a huge craze in the 80s.
So
but
that actually brings me to my first point. The Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern movie is not that bad.
It's
Well,
pretty.
since
okay.
we're
It's
not starting
okay.
off with
Bad.
hot takes, how
It's
about we
pretty
hear
bad.
from our next contestant here,
That's not an
Gavin
opinion.
Soundrup. How are we doing tonight?
I'm doing good.
How would you like to introduce
I feel ready.
yourself?
I think I'm gonna win Beast games. No, yeah, I don't know. I think like the first comics I read were like Calvin and Hobbes, and then like
Fire.
literally like Sonic comics, like the Archie Sonic
my
comics.
dad
which
had
are-
one of those big Calvin and
Yeah,
Hobbes books.
the good stuff in
Yeah.
there. I don't know. I read a lot of different random stuff, lots of horror and lots of superheroes, and I'm just excited to talk to people about comics. Yippee!
Fire.
Ryan.
I just want to
My name's
preface.
Ryan Lee,
Oh, sorry. No.
and I'm the resident Spider-Man Glazer, and that's all you need to
You gotta
know.
have one.
need one.
You gotta have
We
one.
need-
I
yeah.
have one.
If it ain't
How many
street level.
hours in Rivals
He's
I
Lord.
have
on Spider-Man?
Spider-Man.
Is he Lord
That
That
Spider-Man?
is shit nowadays.
just on Spider-Man.
Just Spider-Man.
Probably like
Spider-Man.
25.
A
to
whole
30
day
hours.
of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Last day, Spider-Man.
Could you
last
ask
day.
for anything more?
Brand
Yeah,
new
and he
day.
actually did
Brand
it all
new
at
Spider-Man,
once,
brand new
too.
day.
Right on
Brand.
launch, he just played Spider-Man and couldn't put it down for 25 hours. And then he never,
Yeah.
played,
Dude.
he even ever
Hell
picked
yeah.
it
He's
back
never
up
played
again.
Rivals again.
Yeah. And I'm Aaron.
Going.
Yeah, introduce
Aaron
yourself properly,
Cohen.
man.
I don't
What's your
know.
last name?
I was always into superheroes and stuff, but I didn't start reading comics until like a year ago. For me, it was all YouTube. I watched like Comic Story and Comics Explained. Those two were my goats. And but yeah, starting January 2023, I started collecting, and now we're here. Now look at
Yeah.
us.
This man put me on to collecting, and now
Heck
here
yeah.
we are.
I wanted to just preface too that Transformers was not my first comic book, but Ultimate Spider-Man was. The Venom arc specifically was my first
Ooh, fire.
comic book that I had, and then I also got a small Fantastic Four book. I don't know who wrote it.
Hickson, if you're lucky.
There was a dinosaur on the cover, and that's all I really
Not
remember
sure.
about
Lost
it.
me
There was,
already.
there was
We
a-
can reverse search it. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
There was a dinosaur part.
Look it
in
up, Isha.
And there was also
you should
another.
look that up.
Fantastic
Bring it
Four
up.
dinosaur. What kind of dinosaur?
It was like a T-Rex.
Just look up
It was just
dinosaur.
a green. It was just on the
It's
cover.
probably
There
the
was, like, they were in
Savage
this- Yeah, they were in
Lands.
the Savage Lands.
It's probably
that's
Mole
like,
Man.
That's what it is.
Okay.
But there's another part of it. It was like I don't think it was like a continuous like volume or anything. It was just a collection of some stories, I think. But there was also another one where it was the Fantastic Four with that big bulldog that can like teleport. Or
Oh,
whatever.
the Immortals pet?
Yeah,
Lockjaw?
Lockjaw. There was
yeah.
like they
Lockjaw.
were
Yo.
on some adventures with him, and he was like transporting them just to random ass places.
Inhumans. I
Like,
said
yeah.
Immortals. It's the
Oh yeah,
Inhumans.
Inhumans. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
crazy.
No,
Okay, so-
I always think it's Immortals too. I don't know why.
They got too many groups I don't give a fuck about.
There's a lot.
So you're kind of right. I don't know if this is the issue that you're remembering, but the only Fantastic Four dinosaur related issue that's not like a fucking Doomsday situation, because he's riding a T-Rex in there. There's an Ultimates run where it's Ben Grimm and he's about to punch a T-Rex.
Okay.
And then there's
That sounds
a very,
fire.
very old one where it's like a Triceratops, like just like ripping into a fucking uniform, and it says Fantastic Four, no more.
You know, I
Could
don't.
be either.
Fantastic
that could
Four,
be-
no
well,
more.
Is
Like
I think
Spider-Man,
Lockjaw
no more.
was like the main plot device in that. I remember because he was he just kept like transporting them to random ass places in the Savage Lands or whatever they
So
were.
it's Ultimate
was-
Fantastic Four issue 21. I can look more into that.
See, if
Could
they
be,
made that
could be.
today, it would be like multiverse, and they'd be going
Right,
to different
yeah.
universes, and yeah.
They'd be interacting with themselves that are
and
dinosaur
Lockjaw
riders.
would not be in it because they're like, there's no synergy. No one's gonna watch this movie.
He can't even talk. What the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah. They'd make
Okay.
him Scooby Doo. He'd be voiced by Chris Pratt.
Yes, and I would watch it.
Yes, sir.
Just to talk about it.
Okay, well,
Yeah. Let's.
All right,
get
let's
to
Now
get
the book.
let's
into
talk
it.
about what
to
we're
bring us
really
back
here for.
to the name
I guess yeah.
or the point of this podcast, it's basically book club. We read a book a month, and this month we chose Batman Court of Owls.
Yeah. It's almost.
Courtesy of Aaron.
Yeah, so how we chose this is we all put in two like trades that we could read, and then we spun a wheel, and it landed on mine.
It did.
I forget what the other one I put in was. World Tree?
Yeah,
Volume 1?
Volume
Yeah,
1.
that would have been interesting. Well, we got Batman, which is low-key
We
like a
did.
great first episode.
It's a good.
Written
one.
by Scott Snyder,
good
art by
start.
Greg Capullo.
Coincidentally, we all read the compact edition,
We did.
which is new. Only $10
And
for
boy,
that
do
shit,
I have
bro.
some fucking thoughts on this, man.
What do you not like about the compact?
Okay, let's talk about it.
Okay.
So,
First issue.
issue 1 through 11, no problem with that. I think
Yeah.
it's actually a great idea that they went farther than just the 1 through 6 Court of Owls. Like Night of the Owls is a great addition to just tack on. No reason to not include it. What they
Full arc.
listen, man. So what they did wrong, what they fucked up here is there's backup issues for like, I think there's 4 backup issues.
I think there's just
I think it's 2.
there's the one with Jarvis
There's
Pennyworth.
4
and
backup 4 backup issues.
Oh,
or
okay.
like backup.
But they only put 2 in the.
Yeah, well, no. The one with Jarvis is a 3-parter. So it came out
Oh,
3
I
issues,
see.
like
Okay.
2 or 3 pages at a time.
Gotcha. Right.
I didn't read them. I skipped that part.
You skipped it.
Yeah, and you're missing out. And you know,
Whoa,
that's
what?
my
It's a literal-
exact fucking problem with this is if you had it in floppies
Or trade form.
or trade. I don't know how they did it.
in the volume form, like the whole issue for that like Batcave fight, it ends and then it goes into the backup
Yeah,
issue. And
okay.
then it goes into the next
And
one.
that's where it all starts, right? There's an issue where it ends. Alfred and Batman are in the fucking Batcave. They're in the armory. They're locked in. There's a bunch of fucking people trying to get them. And then Batman busts out in this huge suit. And that is like a splash page. It's how the issue ends. And then the backup issue picks up immediately. It shows him fighting the guys. And it shows Alfred like putting a call out to all the like Bat family in Gotham and telling them like, hey, here's the situation. You need to protect these people. And it kind of goes back and forth. And it shows Batman fighting. And it's like an amazing epilogue to it. But you don't, and it's
You don't get
perfectly in between the end of that issue and the beginning of the next one.
Like there's no reason it should have been at the end.
Right,
No,
you
that's
you
true.
miss the entire fight because when it's in this, it doesn't happen until they just collected all the backup issues at the end after issue 11, and then there's the 3-parter with Jarvis Pennyworth, and that's first of all,
I really like that. I'm not gonna lie.
I have
I
my
re- I
opinions
like
on that
that
story.
one.
I don't love it. I like the story. I don't like how there's certain things they did with the origin of Batman and like the lore and his like family relations. I don't
Well, that's
love
another.
Thomas Wayne Jr. I don't like Lincoln March. So like but even okay, look. So
We're getting ahead.
We're getting
Yeah.
ahead.
aside from all that, the 3 parts of that story are better in segments. When
Right.
you're reading
No,
the
I
story
imagine.
and then you get a little bit of the Jarvis backstory, and you read the story and the
You get
mystery
more of it.
continues and the backup issues feed into it. And then, but like at this point, you read the whole story. You know what Lincoln March is. You know about fucking Thomas Wayne Jr. You know what the Court of Owls. It's all resolved. And then you read it all as one story, and you're like, well, there's no mystery anymore. I know everything that happened. So I think they really fucked up that, and like that's whatever. That's just a formatting thing. They decided to put all in the back for some reason, which is stupid.
It's compact.
The Jarvis Pennyworth thing is like more like that story. It makes a little bit more sense to put it all together just at the end. That's fine.
It's a
but
nice little like book.
But the other one, I can see what.
yeah, like
that
when it's
definitely-
literally in between the issues, like chronologically, like why would you put it at the back? And you're like, oh, that's what happened when Batman was fighting. Like it's stupid. Yeah.
That is bizarre.
Alfred POV.
It's dumb. My only other problem with this, and it's why I kind of hesitated picking this one up for a long time, is I just wish it was bigger. I just wish it was bigger. I feel like the panels, some of them are really small, some of the text
Some
is
of them
really
are hard to
small,
read.
and
Yeah.
it's a little bit
I
hard
mean,
to read.
right?
It is
It
very
is a compact.
But for example, they also published Watchmen like this, and with the
it
9
was
panel
bigger.
grids, it's
Right.
like it's just laid out better. So
Yeah.
Well, some of the paneling they're doing in this is like new and experimental, and some of
Yeah.
it just doesn't. It needs the space.
it needs the
Yeah.
space.
Some of
Exactly.
it did.
But I also think like for what the compact editions are and like how they're
It's not a bad way to read it.
no, like you're
I mean,
able
for
to
$10,
they can
Yeah.
sell them in like regular
Yeah.
bookstores. They can put
Right.
it on a shelf in like a Walmart, and people would look at it because it looks like an actual book. And I think Court of Owls is a great story to put in that kind of like format where if it's going to be a broader release, it's going to be more approachable.
Especially since
Court of Owls
it's
is
just
good.
such a well-known.
But yeah,
art
they really
of
fucked up the
his.
backup issues. It kind of pissed me off. Because when I was reading this, I kind of flipped back and forth between reading it through this and reading the online issues. So like I got the better way to read it with all the backup issues. I experienced as it was coming. And then I was like flipping through this because I wanted to see how it was working. And I'm like, holy fuck, they didn't do it that way. I thought they completely didn't even include those backup stories. And then I flipped it back. I saw they call it like additional stories or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's whatever. That's my big problem with the compact. That's my little rant about the compact.
I
format.
definitely agree with you on that end. I just read it today actually to catch up with you guys, and reading the kind of like last little issues at the end kind of confused me a little,
Yeah.
especially with the little space in between the like chapters 8
The
and 9. I think
art style changes too.
yeah,
Yes,
that was a
it
big
does
one.
a lot.
That
Well,
makes it
and-
feel disjointed.
Not
a
Not
little.
necessarily for the Pennyworth side, but definitely
Yeah.
for the in-between fight one
Yeah.
where Alfred is sending out the message. That threw me off
Yeah.
a little.
You do
knowing-
kind of get that in the story though, but I remember I read this on like when DC Universe was both for all their shows and comics.
Oh, right.
So like 4 years ago or something, I read it on there, and then I read it on the compact when it came out, and then I read it again on the compact now. So I totally forgot that those were different segments.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what's funny too? I just thought of this. So Scott Snyder wrote all the backup issues, and that's part of why I think it should be integrated in the story, because it's not like it's a disconnected. Like it's literally the same writer, but it's
Yeah.
actually he co-wrote them with James Tynion or what. But he's the one.
Tynion.
James Tynion wrote World Tree, which was the other thing
Oh,
that I
your
put
other
in there.
pick.
So it's kind of funny that they're
funny.
both
Worked
in
out
this
that
one.
way.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. But yeah, just the fact that it's the same writer, I really think it should have been integrated more.
Yeah.
But we
So-
haven't even begun to talk about
But
the
the
actual.
actual.
Before we get
yeah,
ahead of
we're
ourselves,
already
We're
we're
already
already at the
ahead
end.
of ourselves. So this is
This is Batman.
it's Batman.
This is Batman.
It starts with issue 1. This is New 52 Batman. It starts here. They didn't restart continuity, especially with Batman, because I mean issue 1, you see him. He has all the Robins. He has all of them down to Damian. You know, I mean, there's some like other.
This is the first series
characters.
after Flashpoint.
Yeah,
and all
so
that.
Flashpoint happens, and what they did is they took all of the continuity and they said it happens within like 5 years, which really fucks up Batman's whole thing, because that means he went through a sidekick basically every year. And it doesn't make sense because like Dick
It's
Grayson
never
is
made
like
sense.
a full.
It's never
No,
made
and
sense.
that's the biggest issue with
Batman's always in his like mid 30s.
Yeah,
and
perpetually
and
No matter what.
30
so
to
the
40.
Robins also just can't really age. It's just how
Yeah.
it. it's
Well,
how it goes.
and like Dick Grayson being like early to mid 20s,
Yeah.
and then and he became a Robin only 5 years ago. He
Yeah.
would have had to start when he was like already a late teenager,
And
as
they-
opposed to being like a kid.
I think they
you know?
still allude to how he was Batman for a while too, and he was it for like years.
Yeah.
But then it's like know, within the chronologically, who knows?
It's somewhere in between 5 and 10 years. I think they did the same thing with Green Lantern, where like his continuity didn't restart. They just kind of.
I think that's most of the reboots. They kind of like fresh, like
Or maybe I'm thinking
soft
about Rebirth.
reboots.
I'm thinking about
Yeah, it's
Rebirth.
like soft reboots.
When they did Rebirth, Batman and Green Lantern didn't get reset, but all the other guys did. But this New 52 start and I mean, it just okay. So first of all, we start off with Batman fighting his rogues, and then all of a sudden, fucking and then Joker comes out and starts fighting with him. And damn, if that isn't fucking cool. Flash and Sonic race and talk shit to each other is so good.
That's so
there's
and
like
it feels good. You think you know exactly how it's gonna go, and it goes mostly like that.
Right,
but it's
for
enough.
real.
Whoever's writing it actually cares enough to
Right.
make it like, oh, this is fun.